This is the latest in a series of videos that I have made about what I'm listening to on my relatively new turntable and this speaker here. This is Rod the Mod. This is Rod Stewart. It's a classic edition. It's every picture tells a story. And Mod with suitably backcombed hair there. He had just joined the Faces, who were actually known as the Small Faces. Rod Stewart became their lead singer, but he continued to produce solo albums, and this was one of them. Having said that, all the Faces, as they were now called, played in one means or another on this LP. They had changed their name from the Small Faces to the Faces simply because Rod was quite tall, and it didn't quite fit in with the name Small Faces. So we've got Every Picture Tells a Story, and it was released in May 1971. And just to remind you, if you need reminding, that's almost 50 years ago. And it's a mixture of rock, folk, blues and soul. It became #1 in the UK charts and #1 on the American charts, so it did quite well. In fact, it did exceedingly well. It was well rated. We've got people like Ronnie Wood, Ian McLagan, Ronnie Lane were all playing on it, and the drummer should have been Kenny Jones, but on most of the tracks it's a fella called Mickey Waller. Kenny Jones played on the track I'm Losing You, which is one of my favourites. Who else have we got on playing? Well, we've got the mandolin player from Lindisfarne is mentioned in the credits, and he was a guy called Ray Jackson. And we've got Maggie Bell, backing vocals, and Madeline Bell as well. So an exceptional array of outstanding musicians, with Ronnie Wood starring as usual. Favourite tracks? Maggie May, of course. Reason to Believe by Tim Hardin. Mandolin Wind, Rod's contribution there. And I Know I'm Losing You. Brilliant track. Love that track. Just an outstanding LP, particularly I find on side 2. Side 2 would be my favourite, and quite surprising to find a few lines from Amazing Grace being sung by Rod. He's very interesting boyo, and done well for himself. He's 75 now, and most of the guys that played along with him are in their 70s as well. Ian McLagan died he died 2014, and Ronnie Lane, he had a constant problem with MS, and he died at the age of 51, 1997. Well, he didn't die of MS, it was pneumonia, sort of induced by his MS condition. Ray Jackson, the mandolin player, still alive. Mickey Waller, who had actually been with Rod in the Jeff Beck group and Steam Packet. And John Mayall's Blues Breakers, he died 2008, age 66. The Small Faces were one of my favourite bands, and Steve Marriott died a horrible death in a burning flat years earlier. He had been in Humble Pie and other succession of bands. Unfortunately, potential not realised. So, music from 1971 I had still listened to, and I'm going to put this on my turntable, and I'm going to put it up to max, and I'm going to hoover to get some brownie points. All the best.